Welcome to today's deep dive. We're diving into some seriously cool research coming out of the University of Illinois.
Yeah, a real fascinating look at a really, really tiny tool that's making some big waves.
So tiny tools, big impact. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's it. Specifically, we're looking at this article about the NanoGripper.
A NanoGripper. I feel like the name's giving us a clue already.
It really does. Picture this. A microscopic hand with four, this bendable fingers.
Okay, a microscopic hand. I'm intrigued. But 4 bendable fingers. What is this hand made of?
Well, that's the really mind-blowing part. It's all crafted from a single strand of DNA.
Hold on. DNA. Like our genetic blueprint DNA that can be used to build a tiny hand.
Exactly. It all comes down to this incredible field called DNA origami.
DNA origami. So we're talking about like folding DNA instead of paper.
You got it. It's like those intricate paper cranes, but on a molecular level. We're folding strands of DNA to create these really complex 3D shapes.
So we're not just decoding our genes anymore, we're actually building stuff with them.
Exactly. And the NanoGripper is a prime example. It really highlights the level of precision we can achieve. 4 fingers and a palm, all from one DNA strand.
That's just wild. But, okay, we have a tiny DNA hand. What can it do? Why is this so special?
This is where it gets even cooler. Each fingertip has something called a DNA uptamer. Think of it like a lock and key system, but on a molecular scale.
So it's like each finger is designed to grab onto a specific target.
Precisely, and we can actually program these uptamers to target very specific molecules. The research we're looking at today, they programmed it to recognize and grab the spike protein of, you guessed it, COVID-19.
So they built a tiny hand that can latch onto viruses. That's incredible.
It is, and when those uptamers on the fingertips make contact with the virus, the fingers actually bend and wrap around it, grabbing it.
Okay, that's awesome. I can totally picture this tiny little claw machine snatching up viruses. So where does this lead us? What are the real-world implications of a virus-grabbing DNA hand?
Well, first off, think about how we detect viruses now. Sending samples to a lab, waiting days for results.
Yeah, it's a nail-biter for sure.
With the NanoGripper, they've developed a COVID test that gives you results in just 30 minutes, right at the doctor's office.
No more waiting and wondering. But how does it work? How do you get results that fast?
It's pretty elegant, actually. Once that NanoGripper grabs a virus, a fluorescent molecule lights up. A sensor then counts those individual viruses, giving you a precise measurement.
Wait, hold on. They can count individual viruses with this thing.
They can, and it's not just about detection. What if we could go a step further and actually stop viruses from infecting our cells in the first place?
Okay, now that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Are you telling me this NanoGripper can stop a virus dead in its tracks?
That's exactly what the researchers showed. They took cell cultures, added these NanoGrippers, and then exposed them to COVID-19.
And what happened?
The NanoGrippers basically swarmed the viruses, blocking the spike proteins from attaching to and infecting the cells.
So it's not just grabbing, it's like a microscopic shield. What could this mean for, like, preventing the spread of diseases?
The possibilities are huge. Imagine a nasal spray with NanoGrippers designed to target, say, the flea virus. You could essentially intercept the virus right at the source.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. We're talking about a whole new approach to preventive medicine. But is this limited to COVID, or can it target other viruses as well?
That's one of the coolest things about it. It's totally reprogrammable. Flu, HIV, hepatitis B, the list goes on.
Wow. So this tiny little DNA robot is incredibly versatile, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface. This is blowing my mind. I mean, where do we even go from here?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but we've really only scratched the surface of what this NanoGripper can do. Beyond the diagnostics and the blocking, there's another whole world of possibilities, like targeted drug delivery.
Okay, you're telling me this little DNA hand can deliver medicine too? You have my attention.
Oh yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Targeted drug delivery, huh? So we're not just talking about stopping viruses, we're talking about actually treating diseases with this thing.
We are. And it's a game changer, especially when you think about diseases like cancer.
Okay, cancer.
Yeah.
So how would the NanoGripper work in that context?
Picture it like this. You've got this super potent anti-cancer drug, and you need to deliver it directly to the tumor cells, right?
Right, but without harming the healthy cells around it. That's always been the tricky part with chemo.
Exactly, and that's where the NanoGripper comes in. We can actually attach the drug directly to it.
So the NanoGripper becomes like a tiny little delivery truck.
Perfect analogy. And the best part is we can actually program it to recognize specific markers that are only found on cancer cells. It's like giving it a GPS system to navigate right to the tumor.
Wow. So it's delivering the drug right where it needs to go, minimizing those nasty side effects.
That's the idea. Less damage to healthy tissue, more targeted treatment. It's all about precision.
This is mind-blowing. So, cancer treatment? Check. Are there other diseases where this kind of targeted approach could be a game changer?
Absolutely. Autoimmune diseases, for example. That's where your immune system starts attacking your own body.
Right, and the treatments for that can be pretty intense, suppressing the whole immune system.
With the NanoGripper, we could potentially deliver immunosuppressants directly to the overactive immune cells without affecting the rest of the system.
Okay, so it's like calming down the specific cells that are causing the problem instead of just shutting down the whole immune response.
Exactly. And the potential applications go even further. Gene therapy, tissue repair, even targeting infectious agents that hide inside cells. It really opens up a whole new world of personalized medicine.
I can see why you're so excited about this. But I have to ask, this all sounds amazing, but there have to be some challenges, right?
Of course, nothing's ever that easy. One of the biggest hurdles right now is scalability. We can make these nanogrippers in the lab, but to actually use them in medicine, we need to figure out how to produce them on a much larger scale.
Makes sense. And what about cost? Something this advanced must be incredibly expensive to produce.
Right now, the materials and processes for DNA nanotechnology are still pretty pricey, but like with any new technology, as research advances and production ramps up, we can expect those costs to come down.
So it's a long-term investment, but the potential benefits are huge. Okay, so we've got scalability and cost. What about safety? I mean, we're talking about putting these tiny robots into the human body. Even if they're made of DNA, are there concerns?
You're absolutely right. Safety is paramount. We need a ton of research and testing before we can even think about widespread use in humans. We need to understand how these nanogrippers interact with the body's complex systems. We need to make sure they don't trigger any unwanted immune responses. We can't take any chances.
So a lot of excitement, but also a lot of caution. We need to proceed carefully and responsibly.
Exactly. We have to balance the potential benefits with a healthy dose of scientific rigor. And we can't forget about the ethical considerations.
Ethical considerations, like what?
Well, for starters, access and equity. These kinds of treatments have to be available to everyone, not just a select few. We can't let this technology exacerbate existing health disparities.
You're right. It's not just about can we do it, but should we do it?
Right. And we have to think about the potential for misuse. Could someone use this technology for purposes beyond medical treatment? These are all things we have to consider before we can move forward.
It's like we have this powerful new tool, and we need to make sure we use it wisely and responsibly. It's not just about the science, it's about the ethics as well.
Exactly. We have a responsibility to guide its development in a way that benefits all of humanity.
So where do you see this technology going in the future? Are we on the cusp of a nanotechnology revolution in medicine?
I believe we are. As research progresses, I see nanogrippers and other nanorobots becoming a routine part of healthcare. Targeted treatments, personalized medicine, a deeper understanding of the human body at the molecular level.
It's an exciting vision, but also a bit daunting. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we approach medicine.
It is, and it highlights the incredible power of human ingenuity. We are literally manipulating matter at the nanoscale to solve some of our biggest medical challenges.
Before we move on, is there anything else about this NanoGripper or about DNA nanotechnology in general that you think our listeners should know?
I think the key takeaway is that we're witnessing a new era in medicine. Things that used to be science fiction are becoming reality. And it's not just about treating disease, it's about understanding life itself at the most fundamental level.
It really makes you appreciate the power of scientific exploration and the importance of investing in research.
I agree. Who knows what other amazing breakthroughs are just around the corner? It's an incredible time to be alive.
All right, well, that was certainly a mind-blowing deep dive into the world of the NanoGripper.
Yeah.
I'm ready to take a break, but I have a feeling we're not done exploring the wonders of nanotechnology just yet.
We are just getting started.
You know, it's crazy to think we're already building these little machines out of DNA.
It really is, and it makes you wonder what else we could do with this technology.
Right. We've been talking about medicine, but could we use this kind of precise molecular manipulation for other things?
Oh, absolutely. Think about, say, environmental monitoring.
Environmental monitoring. How would that work?
Well, we could use DNA origami to build tiny sensors that could detect pollutants in the air or water.
So we're talking about like nanoscale environmental watchdogs.
Exactly. Or what about using DNA to build circuits for the next generation of computers?
Wow. So we're talking about applications far beyond healthcare. We could be talking about revolutionizing whole industries.
Exactly. That's the exciting thing about science. You never know what new doors a discovery might open.
That's so true. And it really makes you appreciate the importance of supporting scientific research, encouraging young people to go into STEM fields.
Absolutely. It all comes down to curiosity, creativity, collaboration.
Well, this deep dive has definitely sparked my curiosity. It's been a journey. From DNA origami to personalized medicine, and then even bigger picture stuff like the future of nanotechnology.
It's been a pleasure exploring all this with you.
Likewise. I just hope our listeners are feeling just as inspired by all this as I am.
Me too. Who knows, maybe someone listening right now will be inspired to pursue a career in science and make the next big breakthrough.
That would be amazing. It's a reminder that scientific progress is a journey, and everyone has a role to play.
Well said.
So to our listeners, stay curious, keep exploring, keep asking questions.
There's a whole world of wonders out there, and as we've seen today, sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the NanoGripper and DNA nanotechnology.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.